Training camp is definitely a big deal for the Buffalo Bills, as we always hear Sean McDermott say that jobs are earned in Buffalo. Man, we could see a lot of change-ups here for the Buffalo Bills. So really, I want to discuss all the sleepers, all the questions in this video for the Buffalo Bills. What jobs are truly on the line in this 2023 training camp? But welcome to my channel here, Bills News Consolidated. Buffalo Bills could very well look a little different going forward, and I think there are a lot of players that we are expecting a lot from, this upcoming season. And really, first of all here, the biggest holes I really see on this Buffalo Bills team, and I think it's been pretty much drilled out at this point, but the inexperience at middle linebacker is definitely a concern. Tyrell Dotson makes the most amount of sense filling in last year for Tremaine Edmonds and doing just as well, if not better in pass coverage than Tremaine Edmonds. But now we have Dorian Williams, Balin Spector, and Terrell Bernard in the background, as well as A.J. Klein. But what is really going to happen there? I think that's a clear-cut answer, right? And we've also kind of discussed Spencer Brown a little bit. This is a big training camp for Spencer Brown, and Spencer Brown could very well lose his starting right tackle position this training camp, especially if a guy like Brandon Shell comes into play, especially if David Questenberry, who mixed in there last year, comes into play. There's a lot of competition going down at these positions. So right off the bat, we could very well see a different starting right tackle and also we're definitely going to see a different starting middle linebacker for the Buffalo Bills. Those are two major changes. And then you take a look at the free agent signings that we brought in. David Edwards on this offensive line, Connor McGovern on this offensive line, likely the starters to be mixed in with Deion Dawkins and Mitch Morris, and potentially a different starter with Brandon Shell. So how is this offensive line going to gel when we only have potentially two players, 2 out of 5 on this offensive line that were there last year? Aaron Cromer, a new offensive line coach in previous years, coming in, mixing in, learning this offensive line. Now we do have familiar faces with Ryan Bates, Ike Bucker, and a bunch of other guys, Tommy Doyle, and all these dudes mixing in. But I really believe the continuity and learning this offensive line, this training camp, is going to be awfully crucial. Getting the best front 5 out there, especially our rookie, Osiris Torrance. Are we going to plug and play Osiris Torrance as a rookie? How is that ultimately going to shake out? So they have a lot of figuring out to do on this offensive line. And then we always say, continuity again, but the running backs on this team, we really only have James Cook. Nyheim Hines being brought in late last year and stating that this offense was like Chinese to him. James Cook, a rookie last year, still learning the NFL. And now we have Damien Harris, who comes from a similar style playbook with the Patriots because of Brian Dable spending 10 years with Bill Belichick and the Patriots. Playbook and verbiage is pretty much similar. So Damien Harris definitely has a huge leg up going into training camp for the Buffalo Bills. I think he could very well emerge as the number 1 running back for the Bills. And James Cook is used on third downs, on plays where we need a home run, right? You need a touchdown. Every time James Cook touches it, he could bring it to the house. And then you got to take a look. Also, Dalton Kincaid, our first-round draft pick at tight end. How is this going to happen here? Years past with Lee Smith, even Tyler Kroft we brought in at one point. There's been so many different tight ends. It's been crazy. Charles Clay, going back to Charles Clay, we've really been waiting for Dawson Knox to emerge. He emerges, and then we bring in another tight end. So how is this all going to work out with this offensive line? Being an extension of this offensive line is going to be very, very interesting. And then really, guys, sticking with offense, wide receiver. I mean, Deontay Hardy is getting compliments from Bills players after we had Jamison Crowder here, after we had Isaiah McKenzie here, after we thought that we had some speed at that slot position, and you got players like, oh my God, I'm so shocked by the speed of Deontay Hardy. I've never seen anything so fast as Deontay Hardy, as well as Deontay Hardy complimenting Josh Allen, saying like, dang, like the ball, you have to pay attention at all times because Josh Allen could put the ball anywhere. He can make any throw at any time. So it's just a wonderful thing to see. And knowing that Deontay Hardy had Jamison Crowder, had Trevor Siemian during his Pro Bowl year, he now has Josh Allen, he has Stephon Diggs, he has all these weapons, he has a great offense to blossom here in Buffalo. So moving on to defense, I really think the Buffalo Bills' glaring hole is that middle linebacker spot, but we do have some other big-time question marks here. And it's crazy to hear NFL analysts and national NFL analysts saying that Trey White is not the same player after his injury. And yes, he didn't return to be the same player as he was in years past last year. I think it takes a lot of, nerve. It takes a lot of getting over that hurdle of an injury, like knowing that you're not going to re-hurt yourself, and belief and trust in that repaired knee. So I think Trey White very well has a great shot. I mean, there's not another player on this team that I trust to come back from a freaking injury than Trey White. Hearing Sean McDermott, Brandon Beane, hearing every single player that is surrounded by Trey White talk about how hard he works, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, so impressed with Trey White. What makes you think that Trey White is not going to work his tail off to come back after this injury? And I really believe Trey White is going to come back. Micah Hyde even said he could come back even better than what he was in years past. I believe that. So that's a huge, huge thing that we're going to see during training camp. That's how important training camp is. We're going to figure this out during training camp. Brandon Beane, Sean McDermott are going to be drooling at training camp. Iron sharpening iron. Cannot wait to see this, right? And then opposite role, Dane Jackson, Kyer Elam, Christian Benford, who's going to mix in there? And then Taylor Rapp, a high-praise free agent by the Buffalo Bills. How is he going to be utilized? Will we utilize him in the slot against girthier, heavier slot tight ends like a Travis Kelce? Maybe we start a rotation with Taryn Johnson. I've been bickering at that for a while now. Taryn Johnson at times, 100% snap count at times. You know how much time we're in the nickel. At times I see him huffing and puffing, especially against shiftier slot little cornerbacks like the Cole Beasley, Wes Welker types, It's tough to keep up with that. Taryn Johnson, to me, is a much more physical style corner. And I believe if he can mix in there with Taylor Rapp, I think that'd be great. And then also on this defensive line, Leonard Floyd, Shane Ray, Greg Rousseau, Boogie Basham, AJ Epinesa. How is this all going to shake out? Shaq Lawson too, right? And Poona Ford, new free agent. So this is going to be a great training camp battle. I cannot wait to see how everything shakes out here. It's just going to be huge. It's absolutely going to be huge. I truly believe this is the deepest the Buffalo Bills have ever been. But if you guys enjoyed this video, I'd really, really, really appreciate it. It means the world to me when you hit like, subscribe. Even means more when you comment. You give me your insights, some feedback on the videos. Really do appreciate you guys. Go Bills.